Whether you're being pursued or the one doing the pursuing, you can always rely on a good video game chase sequence to get the adrenaline pumping. They're oftentimes a test of the skills that you've learned during a playthrough, a chance to play instinctively as a means to survive. Of course, there are blockbuster set pieces too, with some of the most memorable moments in gaming coming during an epic chase sequence. Sewer Chase, Dying Light. Dying Light's epic sewer pursuit occurs at the culmination of at least 20 hours toiling through a vast and dangerous zombie-ravaged apocalypse. And as such, it's an immense test of the first-person parkour skills honed throughout the game's runtime. Taking place in dark and claustrophobic subterranean zombie nests, where one mistimed jump is the difference between falling to your death, becoming a zombie food, or seeing daylight once again. For real, the most anxious moment in a game bursting with nerve-shredding angst, the sewer chase requires a few attempts to nail perfectly. But its challenge is its reward, and as such is one of the most memorable sequences in the entire game. Chasing the Fire Truck, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. A chase of epic proportions greets players at the end of GTA San Andreas, and with it the chance to finally ensure the dastardly Officer Tenpenny meets his comeuppance. With Tenpenny fleeing in stolen fire truck, CJ's companion Sweet hilariously hanging from the truck's ladder for most of it, the chase itself seemingly revisiting every street in Los Santos, with what feels like the entire city's police force in tow, hell-bent on stopping you, ending Tenpenny's reign as the corrupt kingpin. The fire truck's impervious to bullets, so it's down to you to blast away pursuing cops and rival gang bikers when Sweet finally takes the wheel. Tenpenny eventually loses his nerve, running out of overpass and plunging the fire truck onto Grove Street below. Both blockbuster action and a poetic conclusion. The Guest Area Chase, Little Nightmares. The disgustingly greedy humanoid slobs known as the Guest in Little Nightmares are surprisingly quick to abandon their plates at the first sight of tiny player character 6. Surely devouring 6 is like scoffing a baby chicken wing compared to the stacks of gross meat they're already gobbling, but alas, they give chase anyway. Gracefully for 6, the Guest's bulbous weight is their own undoing, meaning they're more walrus-like than Cheetah. They're stupid too, resorting to clambering over each other rather than work together to snare the tiny 6. Despite platforming in Little Nightmares not being the most challenging of sorts, the game oozes tense atmosphere, and even though the Guests are easy to evade, 6 is wildly outnumbered, barely escaping by the skin of her teeth at the chase's culmination. Biker Chase, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots.
Get the body safely to the canal escape point.
As exhilarating as the motorbike chase through compact Eastern European streets is, it's the cinematic presentation typical of Hideo Kojima which really sells the sequence. With Snake riding saddle and Ava driving superbly, the chase's camera angles seamlessly switch between action cutscene to hair-raising gunplay. It feels so good to play. The slow-mo ramp jump over roadblock, just one of the string of highlights in this epic 10-minute chase and evasion. Connor chasing Rupert, Detroit Become Human. Any of Connor's chase scenes in Detroit Become Human could be the focus of this entry given the freewheeling excitement. The scene in which Connor chases Kara across the automated highway is especially intriguing, with the game seamlessly switching between controlling both characters throughout the whole sequence. It's Connor's chasing of deviant android Rupert, though, from ramshackle apartments to rooftop irrigation zones, sliding down glass slopes and jumping on top of moving trains that really gets the nod here. QuickTime events are commonplace in gaming, sure, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a game where the choice of QuickTime event feels so meaningful. Its breakneck decision-making is what sells the immersiveness of the chase. Grind Wheel Chase, BOLLETSTORM. BOLLETSTORM is an often overlooked FPS romp. which is a crying shame as there'll be many a gamer who haven't experienced the grind wheel chase sequence. The game's gunplay is frantic and over the top, with the chase itself requiring the player to relentlessly spray minigun bullets off the back of a train platform, shooting down gyrocopters and gun-mounted 4x4s whilst this humongous jagged wheel rolls ominously in pursuit. City Escape Truck Chase, Sonic Adventure 2. The nostalgia is strong with this one, perhaps not as eye-popping as some other entries on this rundown. Nevertheless, Sonic's escape from a sloped city, which definitely isn't San Francisco, but clearly is San Francisco, is memorable thanks to the menacing truck that's 2 times wider than the city streets. It's hurtling down the hill in pursuit of Sonic. The reverse camera view was a hallmark in Sonic's Dreamcast 3D games, with Emerald Coast's killer whale chase from Sonic Adventure 1 almost getting the nod for this. Ultimately, it's the truck which wins. Taking place in first action stage, it sets the scene for a superior sequel. Ellie and Jesse Car Chase, The Last of Us Part 2.
Go, go!
In a scene reminiscent of Ellie and Joel's drive out of Bill's infection-infested town in The Last of Us Part 1, the second game's car-fleeing suburb set piece does what most aspects of the acclaimed sequel does and ramps up the blockbuster action. Gameplay in this section is much more explosive, at first evading the relentless WLF soldiers, before hordes of hungry infected launch themselves mouths first straight through the open car window. Jesse's lackluster driving adds to the tension of this scene, and it has to be said, though most people would probably struggle to successfully drive through overgrown suburban streets blocked by abandoned cars under gunfire. Despite its Hollywood presentation, Naughty Dog still manages to craft an exhilarating set piece where the player feels like they've barely survived against all odds. Mad Dash, Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Naughty, naughty! Until one of our flames is forever extinguished, our dance will never end! Wait for me!
The motorcycle chase scene in Final Fantasy VII's Remake isn't the most challenging of segments, but it sure is fun. It kicks off once Cloud, Jesse, and the lads make it out of the exceedingly lengthy tunnel. Just as Roach shows up, Roach is a clown, of course, treating his bike like a show pony, spouting all kinds of tame insults at our boy Cloud, but as a piece of video game cinematography, this scene is sublime. At its climax, as Cloud acrobatically flips onto the front of Roach's bike, slicing the engine before multi-flipping back onto the saddle of his own bike, it's so gloriously over the top that you can't help but smile. Dino Dash, Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. Crash Bandicoot games are synonymous with chase sequences, so it would be madness to not include at least one on this rundown. The chases oftentimes crop up mid-level, like the huge boulder suddenly dropping in before rolling behind Crash, Indiana Jones style. For the series' 4th entry, Dino Dash is the level where a T-Rex type monstrosity suddenly appears to give chase. Now, the reverse camera angle is proper frustrating for the first few times, as the obstacles and pitfalls aren't necessarily obvious until they flummox you. Once you've got the route memorized though, evading the T-Rex is a breeze, evoking prime satisfaction in with which Crash Bandicoot games are famous for. Hospital Escape, A Way Out. Before It Takes Two came Hazelight Studios' A Way Out, a story of 2 men and their daring escape from prison. As a premise, the game is essentially one big chase sequence, but the hospital section is arguably its most memorable. In co-op only gameplay, the sequence's camera work seamlessly transitions between the 2 player characters as they quick-time event over hospital gurneys and 1-2 punching lame security guards. You can imagine in couch co-op the eagerness with which to support your fellow escapee must be immense. Did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? So stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.